Good news for Ghana as Trump's law enforcement action in Venezuela shoots up the global price of gold. I guess in every misfortune lies a fortune. Now, follow me on this one. In November 2025, when Ghana's finance minister, Dr. Atuforsen, read the budget, he said Ghana's economic recovery in 2025 was largely driven by the global surge in the price of gold and cocoa. And the data backs him up. In 2025, the price of gold went up by about 60%, going even to a high of just a little below 4,600 on December 26, 2025. Right? In spite of that, the most optimistic projection of the price of gold for 2026 projected that the highest gold is expected to go up in the year 2026 is 20%, right? Even though, yes, the price of gold is expected to go up, it's not supposed to go up as drastic as it did in 2025. A lot of it is because the factors that drove up the price of gold in 2025 are not expected to be as present in 2026. For example, the uncertainty around the US dollar because of the tariff is easing up because the US economy is picking up. However, Trump's decision to attack Venezuela have brought up the uncertainty around the US economy. So, as of yesterday, and even I checked the price today, Tuesday, January 6, 2026, the price of gold is almost at the price it got to on December 26, 2025, which means that the projected price of gold, as optimistic as it looks, is likely to be better. The actual price is likely to be better than the projected price, which means that things are going to be even better for Ghana in 2026 than it was in 2025, at least based on what is happening right now. My name is Tenebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. On this channel, I talk about geopolitics from the perspective of an African. And so if that's something you are into, subscribe to this channel. Let me start by saying this, right? Normally, I don't do day-to-day analysis of commodity prices. I usually like to do the maybe quarterly, biannually or annual projection of commodity prices because it makes more sense because prices change every second. But when you have a fuller report, you can make a better understanding of what is happening, right? But this one is very unexpected. It is newsworthy. Now, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the things that President Trump did in the first few months of his presidency created a global uncertainty. And so investors who usually will invest in the US financial market were skeptical of the US financial market, so started investing in gold. And I think I've said this on this channel before. Whenever there is uncertainty in the world, the price of gold goes up. So as good as the price of gold going up is for Ghana, because Ghana is the number one producer of gold in Africa and one of the top 10 producers of gold in the world, whenever the price of gold goes up, it shows that investors are not confident about the state of the world. For example, after 9/11, the price of gold shot up. During COVID, the price of gold went up. And anytime, just think about it, anytime something bad is happening, yeah, somebody's cashing out. And so the rise in the price of gold last year was an indication that investors are not confident. And why is US market important? Majority of the world invests in the US market. US have, aside the US market itself, the US have a market where companies from other countries can enlist. So the US is essentially the world financial market. New York, Wall Street is essentially the world financial market, right? And so the world pays close attention to the US market. Apart from just whatever the US president says, what happens on the financial market is driven a lot by happenings within the US, right? Good. And so the price of gold usually is an indication that people are not confident in the US, and so they want something that is not dependent on the US, and that is gold, right? And so that is what was the situation in 2025. And coming into 2026, President Trump was becoming, or his policies were becoming clearer to people. So President Trump has started interviewing who will take over as the Federal Reserve Chair. That is important because the Federal Reserve Chair is like the central bank of, like the Bank of Ghana governor in Ghana, right? And so him doing the interviews in December is a good thing, which means that it is not going to be what's the name, what's the word, impromptu decision or an impulsive decision. Yeah, it's not going to be an impulsive decision. It's going to rationally appoint somebody who the world can respect. And so far, the people he's been interviewing are people that the world is comfortable with. When I say the world, I don't mean you and I. Maybe I don't know who is watching this video. I'm sure there are important people watching this video. But when I say the world, I mean like people who make decisions at a big level, right? The people who will be attending the Davos conference later this month. Good. And so that is something that has eased the uncertainty around the US market. And also the US government itself have been putting together other policies to ease uncertainty. And so we are going into 2026 with a lot more clarity and certainty around the US market. And so that was supposed to be a good thing for just not just the US, but the world, right? And so in spite of that, the reason why the projection of gold was supposed to go up in 2026 was because the US Federal Reserve is expected to reduce interest rates in 2026. So President Trump wants interest rates reduced. But President Trump cannot tell the Federal Reserve Chair to do it. If President Trump appoints a new Federal Reserve Chair, which is expected to do in the middle of this year because of the old one's time will be expiring, because he's appointing somebody new, he's going to appoint somebody who aligns with his quest to reduce the interest rates, right? And so because the interest rate is expected to reduce, investors are like, small money, we are going to invest in gold. So the price of gold was expected to go up, but because it's not a impulsive decision, it is something that is expected. The increase in the price of gold, it was expected to actually be between, gold is expected to rise between 4,500, which was around the price it was ending of the year, to 5,500. But actually, most analysts expect it to be even lower. And now, today, as of Tuesday, the price of gold is already back at 4,500, which was a historic high it got on December 26, 2025. So we are already about to hit the record number within less than a week of entering 2026, which means that the price of gold will not be increasing by just 20% in 2026. It probably could reach around 50%, which will mean that Ghana will have more money, which will mean that now our quest to remain an economy that is not dependent on IMF bailouts is on point to be achieved, right? That is basically the point of this video, to let you know that expect good things happening in Ghana. And there's something that people have been asking me, which I've not had the time to get to yet, but maybe later this week, hopefully I'll get to it. And the thing is that people have been asking me, if the economy of Ghana is getting so good, why are prices still high in Ghana? That is a very good economic question that I will need time to explain. So we will do that. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that by Friday, because today is Tuesday. I do not record videos on Wednesdays. I'm a Christian and I was born on Wednesday, so I fast on Wednesdays. So I'll not record a video on Wednesday. I have some other topics I'm doing on Thursday. So on Friday, hopefully, or Saturday, I would give you my breakdown on why prices are still high in Ghana. And also, yeah, I was expected to go back to recording in my room when the festive season is over. But the the manager of this mall wants me to keep recording here. Today I was just sitting at the mall doing some work, and then the director of security came to me and was like, the manager told me that you've been recording here, and then he wants us to ensure that everything you need to keep recording is in place. I don't need anything to keep recording. They just wanted me to know that they are happy with me keeping recording here. So I probably will stay outside for some time, and I'll tell you why. Whenever I'm recording in my room, I get lazy. So if you have watched my videos I've recorded in my room, I sound very dull, very tired because I just wake up from my bed, put on my suit, and record. But when I'm recording at the mall, even walking from the car park to the mall inside, my energy level is high. So I'm able to communicate to you in with high voice, right? With energy. And it makes the engagement even more. And people walking around me, all that also adds to the engagement. The only disadvantage is that when I'm recording at the mall, I will have to be holding my laptop all the time, and I don't like doing that. So I don't reference things that much. So sometimes instead of saying 25, I'll say 26 when the actual number is 25 sometimes. And so that is the only disadvantage. But the facts I present and my analysis of the facts are generally accurate. Sometimes the numbers may vary a little just because slip of tongue, right? I have to record it from memory. That's about it. So also now in my comments, let me know whether you like me to keep recording outdoors or you think I should go back to my room so that I can sound more professional. Let me know what you think about that. Also, yeah, we'll talk again later. Thank you for watching and subscribe to my channel.